All right, welcome into the first episode of the Playbook. We're just starting this. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but we're going to have the very first one right now with Carter Stanton from SMU. Carter, you're going to do a way better job of introducing yourself, but we did meet quite a few years ago during the interview process at West Virginia. I'm running the athletic department, creative team there. I get this kid who applies for a job from Oklahoma State. Most impressive portfolio, like website layout I've ever come across. And I've had to go through like hundreds of them even in the last month, but like unbelievable. I'm like, this kid's a stud. He's going to be a rock star. You choose to go work for the Pirates over the Mountaineers. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But Carter, welcome on. How cliche is that? I don't know. We're going to talk podcast lingo. I don't know. But Carter, what's up, dude?
Hopefully we'll get all the cliche stuff out to start, right, and then we'll settle in a little bit. But yeah, man, excited we're doing this. Excited I'm kind of the guinea pig, like we were saying before we started. And yeah, met Clay a couple years ago. Clay's a rock star. So I'm the associate AD for creative strategy here at SMU. My first job, like Clay said, was with the Pirates, and prior to that, I went to school at Oklahoma State University, or the Harvard of the Midwest, as we lovingly refer to it.
Is that what they call it?
That's what they say.
Wow. On a Big 12 alum, now being at Cincinnati, we go out to Stillwater every now and then. We beat them this last season in October. That was kind of fun.
You and a couple other teams.
They'll be
You
better.
and a couple other teams had some luck down there too.
It's fine. No, so kind of the point of this, I think that the creative space, just college athletics in general, we're all like so deep in the weeds of what's going on day to day. You see all these crazy headlines out there, and like for us, like we're actually trying to navigate it once we get like third, fourth hand information get passed down through the athletic department. And like there's certain people throughout the industry that like I really respect that are at a bunch of different schools that just do things the right way. And like I want to talk to those people. You're one of them. But like your journey, and we'll kind of just go with the flow here, but your journey starting as a student, just like I did, many others have, like what did you pick up when you first started, and like why you wanted to do this?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, really, my journey started when I was in like high school, middle school. I was literally just telling a group of students the other day, I started seeing, these highlight videos, the Tavon Austin highlight videos of the world, right? These viral videos. And I'm like, man, I want to do that. It seems, I know where the footage is. I can go grab it. I'm going to start just kind of splicing it together for fun. And started doing that, and eventually posted some stuff on my YouTube channel that took off, and get to kind of work with some college athletes directly, like kind of making highlight videos for them when I was in high school, which I tried to not have a big ego when I was a high school kid, but like for me, that was really cool. And so I immediately knew I wanted to snowball that right into something that I could do long term. And the first lesson I had to learn was how to make connections and network with people, because I'm like, I want to go to Oklahoma State. They have a good football program. They have a good media team. But like, how do I do that? Do I just like apply for school and just kind of figure it out from there? And so my parents were the first ones that really gave me great advice. And they're like, just reach out. Like, just go to the athletics staff directory, right? And see who's doing the football stuff, who's on the athletic side. And so that was the biggest thing for me, was just being, I emailed like 3, 4, 5 people at OSU when I was in high school, junior, senior year of high school. By the time I actually finally got there, they already knew who I was. So I was already interning my first month there. So that was the biggest thing. Connections and just being well-rounded too is my other thing. I like always tell people, like my first month, I would just walk in the office and be like, what do you guys need me to do? And the biggest need at the time was video. And I kind of picked up video a lot more, shooting video. I hadn't shot a lot of video prior to that point. And within, like by the time that calendar year turned and we moved into the next season, I was like traveling on the road doing video stuff. I had shot enough videos at that point. So not being afraid to cold email people is kind of what got it all started.
Definitely happened. I mean, my first dip into creative at Kentucky, I was a manager first, right? So I started in the equipment room and picking up towels and doing laundry and all that fun stuff. As a joke, going into spring break, which we just came off of, right? But I made like a graphic, like greetings from like Walt Disney World, and it was like the group of all of us managers and just a Photoshop, just being stupid and put it on all the coaches' desks as we left for the break, and they came back and they were like, "Do you want to do this for recruiting? Like, do you want to make some of this so we can send to recruits?" And like in the ancient days of all the mailers and everything. So that was kind of my first door, and like it was never expected. I just wanted to help the team, just like you. Like you were a fan, I'm sure that like, how can I come in and help? And at the time, that was kind of the best thing that would move the needle a little bit. That not everyone can do. Not everyone can go pick up a camera and shoot or make graphics and all that fun stuff. But I think finding that lane, and you're doing it now into your new role, like you're just whatever helps the team, the school, the athletic department be better. How is that kind of like transition from going from just in football to now overseeing athletics? What did you take away from kind of the last couple months?
Yeah, I think it's still, like you said, it's kind of that same attitude, right? Of like, what do we have? And that's one thing I love about the college athletic space in particular, having worked in both, is it's all everybody. It's recruiting, right? What separates us from other people? And so our mindset is, I think when you're in a leadership position, right, you have to take that mindset, and instead of applying it just for yourself, you're applying it as your team, right? Like, what do we have as a team, as a collective unit? What are our guys and girls in their strong suits? What are they best at? What are we best at as a group? And how can we leverage that? And it's a competition, right? Like, it's an arms race. It still is. So how can we be better than our competitors in Texas or in the ACC or whatever the case may be? But that's kind of the attitude shift, I think. It's leveraging what you have, not just resources wise in terms of equipment and all that, but like leveraging your people and empowering your people to succeed too.
Yeah, I'm as competitive as it can be. Like we do this, like we're not on the field, we're not out there on Saturdays or whatnot. Like, but this is competing in our creative space and on social, and we're competing for eyeballs. We want the most important ones to be those recruits. But like, I think what's important is like our relationship. That like you can send me a text, ask a question, I can fire back, see what you guys are up to. Like, it's important to still have those lanes of communication to other places that are doing the same thing, because we're kind of all fighting the same fight, especially internally, resources, staffing, et cetera. Like, I think that's probably my biggest advice to somebody out there, watching this, is just don't alienate yourself from the other people that are doing your same job. You may be working with them. I hope I get to hire Carter someday. Like, I hope he hires me one day when he's an AD somewhere. Like, that's kind of my thinking in all these conversations, is like we have to help each other. I hope that one day, if Cincinnati and SMU play in a bowl game or whatever, like I hope we win. But like, I want our content to be the coolest, but at the same time, we can help each other, on the back end of these things.
Yeah.
What and along those lines too, like when you're sitting there day to day now in your big desk, your big important job now, Carter. But what's kind of like the main thing that you're working on, right now to like kind of, put your stamp on your unit?
Yeah, I think, man, our brand is at such a unique place right now, and that's one thing that really excites me about being here and being in this role right now. Is right, just to give everybody a little background on SMU, right? We were popping in the 80s. They had the Pony Express with Eric Dickerson and Craig James, and then we got hit with the death penalty, right? We're the only team ever, only college program ever to get hit with the death penalty. So we had to do away with our football program entirely for a few years, and really it set our whole athletic department back 40 years. And we weren't really relevant again until we had to kind of scrap and claw our way through the American Conference. And it was 2020 probably when we were really like, all right, we're starting to kind of make some waves. And then 2024, we joined the ACC, we made the college football playoffs. So it's just been this rapid acceleration, right? But we're getting a chance to kind of redefine what our brand is here, which has been really special, because a lot of people don't know what it is. They don't know what SMU is. We tell people SMU's in Dallas. People ask what our Triple D logo means. So like, what is a D? It's SMU. I'm like, well, we're in Dallas. So that's been really, really exciting. And it's been cool to go through that process as a team, as we all kind of learn and feed off of each other, right? And define who we are, and what we want to be. And in conversations with everyone ranging from our senior leadership team to our students, our players, our student athletes. What do our student athletes think our brand is? So that's been kind of the coolest thing, I'd say.
Yeah, I think as you're building it, rebuilding it, it's still a strong brand. You're in a cool place. Like, what's it been like? We're both in cities. Dallas, obviously, a bigger metropolis area, than Cincinnati. But we talked about this, I think, a couple months ago. Is like how to highlight and like just talk about that. I said my answer would be that, inject ourselves into the conversation as much as possible. We got opening day tomorrow. Our new basketball coach is going to be like in the parade going through town. So it's like that's injecting ourselves into a conversation that isn't about us. But in Dallas, bigger scale, multiple, pro teams, the Cowboys, like America's football team. Like, what are you guys, doing internally, like to just kind of, grow that brand too?
Yeah, 100%. There's all kinds of things, right? And part of it's a challenge too, right? It's a blessing and a curse, because the blessing is you get to attach your name to a lot of those great organizations. But the curse is, like, on a Thursday night, a lot of people would rather go to a Mavs game than a women's tennis match at SMU. So that's kind of the ebb and the flow that we've had to figure out. But we literally just had a meeting this morning, and we're going to have another follow-up about the World Cup, right? It's one of the biggest events in the world, and we're going to have a semifinal here in Dallas at AT&T Stadium. And so how do we take that, right? Have this 1,000-foot level thing that's happening that we can leverage and convert that, take the macro into the micro, essentially, is the biggest way to do it. And to your example, right, it's the same thing. Like, we'll have a Good Luck Rangers graphic that goes out tomorrow to leverage just attaching ourselves to their brand, and they do the same thing. And all these things, I think, too, from a national scale, like, help provide, as we're growing our brand, help provide new entry points to fans. Because we almost consider our fan base to be more of like a professional fan base, in the sense of like, yeah, we have our alums in your typical given clubs, but we want to attract like the average fan, because our alumni base, we're a private school, our alumni base is a little bit smaller. So we've really leaned into just capitalizing on, and you said it, I'm sure you guys do the same thing at Cincinnati. You want to just get the man on the street kind of thing. Like, why would you not come to our men's basketball game tonight? We're playing Duke, or we're playing Carolina, or whoever. So that's kind of been our strategy with it.
Love it. Yeah, I miss Texas until about 2 weeks from now, when it's going to be 99 degrees at 10 p.m. I think that's a big thing. Like, we have Ohio State down the road, actually, like, really right in the middle of Ohio State and Kentucky, right? And so you guys got Texas and a lot of competition in the whole state of Texas, and it's like finding that wiggle room to like put your elbows out. I think that's something that we're gonna be really aggressive in, is trying to create new fans. I think that's in this new era of like college athletics, from a monetization standpoint, of how can we bring people in and get CPAWs in bars, get it on, waitresses, get it on, every single place that we can possibly have a touch point. And so I see down there like that's a huge opportunity. There's new businesses moving all the time, into the into Dallas area. Like, that's something you got to, though, fight TCU on, or fight, Texas coming up. So what's been your all's like internal like motivation there? Like, how aggressive are you guys paying attention to what the other Texas schools are doing?
Yeah, I think it's hard, right? Because everybody gets so hung up on in our industry, like, and everybody says it, like, oh, like, we do things differently. Like, everybody does the same thing. So how can you take those kind of tentpole things, if you will, that everyone does that we know performs well, right? Like, everybody's posting your pregame pictures. Everybody's posting a travel edit or a cinematic hype video. So what are little twists on things that we can put on that nobody's putting on it? And another thing I think that we have to emphasize, from, especially now that I'm in this leadership standpoint, is like, social media is so highly visible, right? Like, everybody has an opinion on everything. Your director of development can watch something and be like, well, why don't we have this? So for us, it's trying not to copy a model per se. Like, we're not trying to be, to your point, we're not trying to be Texas. We're not trying to be Oklahoma. We're not trying to be Texas Tech. We're trying to be uniquely us and use our strengths in the best way we can, if that makes sense. So what that looks like is practically, it's brainstorming meetings of, let's break out of the bubble for this, versus this may fall into more of a standard category kind of post. But that's honestly a huge thing for us. Again, going back to our brand growth and where we're at and differentiating ourselves for sure. But and everybody, like, to go back to our first point, we're cordial, everybody's talking, but yeah, everybody's looking at what everybody else is doing for sure.
I'd say the one thing I've learned the most in the last 2 years that I think I have it written down up in my office is that, like, there is very much a point where we're the ones consuming other schools' content. Our fans, Cincinnati fans, are not watching SMU content. They're not
Yeah.
watching another school's content. They don't see that stuff as much as we watch each other's throughout the industry. And so I would say, like, what I've really picked up on is to make sure that, like, we put our fans and our donors, our recruits, totally different, even recruiting based out of Ohio versus Texas. Like, those people, those different groups don't care. They want to see what Cincinnati's up to.
Yeah.
They want to see what this team's doing and following trends, hopping on, stuff that's new and creative and different. We put our own spin on it, right? Like, Cincinnati has a different voice than a team in Dallas at SMU. Like, we have to be our voice. I think I've tried to really implement that here, is that, like, there's a grittiness, we're underdogs mentality, very similar to your all's probably as well, but, like, there's a different voice, and I want it to feel when you log in and you see our content, like, it is Cincinnati. You know it's Cincinnati. Obviously the name's sitting right there, but, like, the voice, the inside jokes, the calls to, like, something from the past. Like, I didn't graduate from UC, but, like, I'm studying really hard, and I've just hired 2 people that were grads for that exact reason.
Yeah.
And so, like, I want them to make us feel like UC. And so all of our students, they're going through it. Like, they're very much, like, literally going to class here and literally going to school. So, like, I ask them questions of, like, what does this mean? What's this little, like, statue on campus or whatever? Like, I'm helping them guide the voice as well, because it's so much. I don't want it to be Clay's voice. I want it to be Cincinnati. So I think we're all trying to do that. We're all trying to put our own spin on the content, and I think you guys are crushing it. This is what I want to do on most of these, is, like, you shout out somebody in your group that you're proud of, or, like, somebody that's working their butt off. Like, who should we know about at SMU?
Yeah, man, we got a baller. It's so hard to pick one person, put him on the spot. But I think, yeah, we got a really, really good crew, man. I'm really excited about what we're doing. We got a baller director of videography, Micah Hamilton. He crushed. We did a couple different assets for March Madness. This is the first year we made the tournament since 2017, and he knocked some assets out of the park for us. Made, like, a big March Madness kind of hype video, and he was kind of joking with me when we were getting ready to put it out. He's like, I'm going to make this 16:9 cinematic video, and it's actually going to do better than the quick little reel mixtape stuff. And I was like, yeah, dude, you're probably right. And sure enough, it did. It did really well, and we got a cool, former player narration on there, and that was cool to leverage that with our fans.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, you're right. I did put you on the spot. There's so many within our whole groups, and it's like, I certainly hear, like, I see that there's a lot of students that do some work for some of the Olympic sports here that I don't work with day to day, but then they'll post it, like, on their story, or Ethan will reshare it, and I'm like, what is that? Like, that's the coolest video I've seen ever. So, like, it does get tough. All right, we're gonna go rapid fire. Favorite thing to do in Dallas?
Oh man, we got a. I'm a runner in my free time, so we got a trail that's literally right next to campus here called the Katy Trail. I highly recommend. And there's a place called the Ice House, and
That's
it's got
the only part of the trail I don't run. I'm just going
yeah.
there. Love it.
love
All right, best stadium you've been to?
AT&T.
Oh, okay. All right, right there. All right. I have to know, like, MLB, college athletics. If you could do one forever, which one are you picking?
There's a reason I think I'm here now, but I do love baseball. Don't get me wrong. I think leaving baseball, like, I never want to give baseball a bad rap. I really learned a lot. It was a fresh perspective, but still college athletics.
All right. Home or away games? Which do you like better?
Away all day.
It's fun. See, people wouldn't expect that. I'd probably answer the same. Like, you
Yeah.
get your team, everybody gets on the plane, like we're going to war together. So like I
Even
love that
better
part
if
of it.
it's their homecoming, their senior day.
When you
Oh,
walk out with a win, it's the best thing
mhm.
ever.
Yep.
No doubt. Happy plane rides home are the best. But all right, and then the last one, just like advice you would give to your younger self or the person that is trying to get into your shoes one day.
Yeah. I'd say don't be afraid to make mistakes. I think it's creatives are perfectionists. You beat yourself up over stuff. You miss a deadline. Something's not as good as you wanted it to be. You couldn't put as much effort in. In the social world, you post something frisky, you get yelled at, kind of thing, slap on the wrist. Like, it took me a while to kind of realize it, but like mistakes are a sign of growth. And if anything, mistakes are like kind of the main sign of growth when you really think about it. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. I definitely was too hard on myself in college a lot, particularly like, man, like I wish I was doing this or I need to know more. And even now, like I feel like, shoot, I'm a month into this new job and I'm making mistakes left and right as I'm learning kind of what it looks like for us. So don't beat yourself up and over making a mistake. If anything, consider it to be a good thing that you're growing.
Yeah, there's going to be mistakes because the goalposts keep shifting. Like we're playing a completely different game than we all were, 5 years ago. So there's going to constantly be things that happen now that are first. Like I thought, there's no way that we can sit here and say, oh, I've seen it all, because it just keeps changing. And so we'll continue to have to face new issues, new problems, but it's going at it with, you don't have to do this, like you get to do it. So like I think that's something to always look, is like, if you make the mistakes, play the next play. Like it's as the players do, if they drop a pass, like we got to go. If we miss a shot, you know what, go get the next one. That's why I will never shoot weddings, because there isn't another first kiss.
That is
So
so true. So true.
sorry to my wedding photographer and videographer coming up in this summer. It's a hard job. I would never do it.
Yeah, that's
Would
a
never
tough
do it.
one. Yeah.
All right, wrapping this up though. Appreciate your time, dude. It's always good to catch up. I'm a big fan. If you're not following SMU football, and what's the main account?
Mustangs, SMU Mustangs.
SMU Mustangs. There we go. Everybody follow them. Follow Carter. What's your handles?
I'm on Twitter, Carter Stanton _. I think my IG. I made my IG when I was like 12, so it's still Stanton GFX, Stanton Graphics. But
Yes,
built a little
that's
brand behind that handle, so I haven't changed it yet. But
it works.